Welcome to the Nickel and Dime Press video page, where my goal is to help you to stop the cycle of life nickel and diming you to death. Here's where I hope to help us learn to pay attention to the pennies, and we will watch our dollars grow. Please like this video because, well, likes are free. Subscribe to this channel because, well, that's free to you too. And then leave a comment with your thoughts or questions at the end of the video. That'll help me to know if what I want to do or what I need to pay more attention to going forward. Without wasting any time, let's get to it. Today's video is the first of a series that I'm calling High School Tax Class. One of the things that hit me was that high schools are missing a key class. High schools should offer a class in American taxation. Such a class would teach the basics as well as tax strategies for utilizing the tax code to legally pay less in taxes each year. It's interesting that we spend many hours in high school learning all sorts of things, but for all of our lives, taxes will affect us. And so it seems to me that I should have at least had a little bit of training about taxation when I was in high school, but instead I got to learn algebra, which, don't get me wrong, I love algebra, but there are many parts of it that's just not important to my life. And so that's why it gets me thinking about this high school tax class. All right, so let's get to it then. The first form that a high school student is going to see is likely the W-4 form. And this is a form that you will see when you go to your very first job. Your employer gives you a form. It's the W-4 tax form for withholding, for employee withholding. And you're expected to fill it out. I remember when I got my first job when I was 16, I was given this form to fill out, but I didn't know what I was doing. And when I asked my manager, she didn't know what she was doing either. She just said, you just sign it there and this, that. And, you could tell she wasn't familiar with it either. And so luckily I got through and everything was fine. But it was kind of shocking at first because I never knew or even expected to see that form. And so that form W-4 is for employee tax holding, for employer tax withholding. All right, so let's answer the question first. What is withholding? Withholding is the amount of money that you pay on your income. It's what you earn. Congress defines income as, quote, everything you earn for personal services, including wages, salaries, commissions, fees, and tips. Basically, unless Congress has specifically excluded something as income, anything you earn is income. The IRS collects a portion or a percentage of a share of all your earnings. And when you earn your earnings, your employer is required to collect and withhold a percentage. And because they withhold it, it's called withholdings, and they send it off to the IRS with every paycheck. And so that's what withholdings are. And you're going to be shocked by that if you've never gotten a real paycheck before. Because I remember when I got my first paycheck, I expected 30 hours worth of $5.25, and I didn't get it. I got less than that, and I'm like, well, where are all these things going? What's FICA? And I didn't know state got my tax too, and so the U.S. government and the state got my money, and so I had a much smaller paycheck than I expected. Well, that's what withholding does, and so the IRS collects this from us, our paycheck each year, and each paycheck. And then at the end of the year, we generally get it all back anyway because, well, we're single. We're high school students, and for the most part, the money was just given right back to us. We're basically making the government a loan. Now, filling out the W-4 Employees Withholding Certificate. For the purposes of this class, I'm assuming that you are a high school student, you are single, and that you only have one job, and that you're claimed by your parents at tax time. With that assumption, then, we can take a look at the form. This is the form here. There are 5 steps to it. Really, as a single student, though, you only need to be concerned with steps 1 and 5, and so that's all we'll really be looking at here. In step number 1, you will be putting your name and your contact info. Very easy stuff. You want to print your name, though, just as it appears on your Social Security card, meaning if your name is William, you might go by Bill or Billy, but you'll want to write your name out as William, and then just your middle initial goes on that line, and then your last name. In the next part, you'll put your Social Security number down. At this point, you should have been given your Social Security card from your parents, and you can get the number from that. One thing I suggest is that as a young person, I suggest that you memorize your Social Security number. The reason is this is the number you will have all of your life, and this is how everything will be done with between you and the government. And when you try to get credit and everything, number will never change. Now, we live in a day where everything changes. Our phone numbers, our addresses, our marital statuses, heck, even our genders. We can physically change our gender nowadays. But what will never, ever, ever change is your Social Security card. And so I suggest you memorize your Social Security number, and it makes life much easier. And so we get done, we fill this out. At the bottom is also a section of your filing status. You got single or married filing single, your married filing joint or qualified widow, and your head of household. For tax purposes, you're going to be filing single because as high school kids, you generally are. And so you just check mark that off as single. And then the next two steps, steps 2, 3, and 4, they're not needed for you. These are for people with multiple jobs or maybe who has a spouse who also works. And so they know how to take out the appropriate tax, or maybe you want extra tax taken out in part 4. This isn't something you're going to deal with as a high school student. So don't worry about steps 2, 3, or 4. And then your final step will be step number 5, where you'll sign and date it. And then that'll be all of it. I mean, it's an easy form to fill out. It just gives the information to your employer so they know what they're supposed to do with your paycheck. And that's the W-4 certificate of withholding. That it's a simple form, but like I said, it's shocking when you get presented with it for the first time, especially if you weren't expecting it. All right, so that's going to be the first, we're going to wrap up this first class here of high school taxation, and I hope this is helpful to you. Please remember, fill out the comments and like and subscribe and do all that good stuff for me on my end. And next time we get together, I'm going to be looking at the 1040, which is the tax form you will be filling out, or your tax preparer will be filling out at the end of the year for you. And we'll take a look at that, and so you're not surprised by anything there. All right. Thank you much for your time. I do appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great day. All right. Thanks. Take care. Bye.